Hi, I'm Andres,
I'm Evie.
and this is our 2025 FRC robot, Calypdos, from 3175 Night Vision. Let's start with the bottom. In our swerve, we actually use two motors, one X60, one X44, and also a can coder per swerve drive. Makes it really easy, moves fast, and it's overall great. If you look at our funnel, is because no matter how you throw it in, it'll always end up in our arm. Starting on our arm, we use two X44s, one for the algae and one for our coral intake. This is really important. It really grips it really well. And if you look at what it's attached to, we have, with the rotating mechanism, we use an X60 for that. Also really great. And now we're gonna show you about our elevator. We also use two X60s. Really core, pretty indestructible.
So for our arm, you can see we can intake, we can utilize the rotation coming from the X60 to score at different levels.
So we use two X60s because our elevator is like 30 pounds. It's really heavy, it's a tank, but it's also indestructible. So using two X60s, it gives us a lot of power to do what we need to manipulate it with speed, efficiency, and precision, which is all really important in this game with like a 2-inch margin of error. If you can tell, like there's not any space between these X60s.
We put them as close together as possible and then built out from there. So the elevator and then the swerve modules. And we wanted the smallest robot possible, just so we could be nimble and fast.
And we wouldn't interfere with other people's climb.
Yes.
That was really important. And having these X60s be so short was a real advantage while still giving us all the power we needed.
Yes.
And also this X60 is great right here. It's what moves this arm.
What rotates this arm, which allows us to score, allows us to flip down and intake coral from our funnel, but also the rotation of it, the flexibility allows us to have different set points for L2 and L3 and L4, which helps with lining up a lot and also helps with the precision of how we're aiming the coral and putting it on the reef. Enabling. So it comes down. The cage would go right here.
On the elastics, it's pretty cool.
This would flip in, it would grab onto the cage, and then we would climb, and it would take the robot up with it.
So if we go with our climber, we actually use one X60 here that's geared down about 600 to 1. And this one motor powers the entire climber, which is really impressive considering it's like a 115-pound robot.
So the design of this robot is very interesting because initially it did not look like this at all. We had a completely different design. There was no funnel. We had a different end effector, and we had no climber at our first event at Ferndale Week 1. And because of that, we did kind of poorly.
It was not a good robot. All right, so we spent a lot of time redesigning the whole robot, rebuilding it. In fact, the only thing that stayed the same was the elevator. It's a tank of an elevator. And I don't know if you can tell, but this chain tensioner is really cool.
With that.
100%, yeah.
It's a very effective elevator,
That's
and
true.
I'm glad it's still standing. The redesign of this robot actually really helped us past that point in the season. We pushed our Week 3 back to Week 5, as Andre said, and we ended up winning that Week 5 as captains of Alliance 2. And so this tank of a robot has had some adjustments since then, but it's taken us all through states and worlds where I think we did pretty well.
Yeah,
personally.
I'm with you on that one. And then we also changed the name from Calypso to Calypdos, because it's kind of like the second version. And I think that's it.
Yeah, that's our 2025 robot.
Brought to you by 3175 Night Vision.